Om Nilambujasyamalakomalangam Sita Samaropita Vamabhagam Panau Maha Sayakacharu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus. He is very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side and is carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. This is Ramcharitmanas, also known as Tulsi Ramayana, Balakanda, and presently we are going back to verse number 76. Recall the story. Sati, who has now become transformed into Uma, Parvati, she is practicing austerity for being married to Shiva. Shiva, in turn, is practicing austerity. And you have already heard that Lord Rama appeared before Shiva. Shiva was meditating upon Rama. Rama is the Ishtadevata of Shiva in a storyline, and it has a profound implications. When Shiva meditates on Rama, Rama relates to absolute self, Brahman. Om and Ram, they have exactly the same implications. Ab binati mama sunahu Shiva, jaumo par nijanehu, jai vivahu, shailajah, yah mohi mange dehu. Rama, appearing before Shiva, said, O Shiva, if you are truly devoted to me, then listen to my prayerful request. Go and be wedded to Parvati. You must always understand these are all allegorical writings. Gods do not have marriage parties. Bringing Parvati in union with Shiva, that's the goal of every soul. Every soul is potential Shiva. And the nature that enfolds the soul in its spiritual movement, that nature is potential Shakti, Shakti of Shiva. Spiritual progress is characterized in two ways. What's happening to the soul within you? That means that's illustrated by Shiva doing austerity, and he's going to destroy karma, and certain things will happen. We'll see that. And Parvati, in turn, doing austerity. Two stories are coming parallel. The spiritual movement is the story of Prakriti and Purusha. The soul, which is Purusha, this reflection of the divine self, and Prakriti, which is again at the source. Purusha and Prakriti are one and the same. But you are not at the source. so don't worry about it. So now in the practical reality in an aspirant has twofold. Letting the soul emerge with its power, its strength, and letting the Prakriti provide all the needed opportunity for the soul to blossom. And when perfection is reached, then Prakriti and Purusha become one. There is no difference. Shiva is playing the part of Purusha. Purusha, the soul, that must move towards the discovery, I am Shiva, devotee of Rama. And Parvati in turn must move towards that state which confronts 7 great sages, which I have described as 7 steps of wisdom. And let me proceed with it, and we'll see more and more. कहा शिव जदपि उचिता सनाही, नाथ बचन मुटि पुनि मेटि न जाही. Shiva said, it's not proper that I should be wedded to Parvati, because Parvati played the role of being Sita in a storyline. In mystical line, Parvati was playing the role of intellect, not intuitional. As Sati is symbolic of intellect that is highly purified and devoted to Shiva, but not transformed. So that state has to change. A transfiguration has occurred, and that story we have told already. Sati allows herself to be burnt up by a mystic fire. Now she is daughter of the Himalaya, the spirit of Himalaya. And her mother is Mana, all that storyline. Parvati is doing austerity, there parallel austerity is going on. Shiva is doing austerity, meditating on Rama, and Parvati is doing austerity, meditating on Shiva. So Shiva is telling Rama, his deity who has manifested before him, it is not proper, implying the old memory. Intellect does not bring fulfillment to your soul until intellect becomes intuitional. And Shiva is suggesting that Parvati is same as Sati, but it's different now. And Shiva is also expressing that, oh Lord, if you say so, then I'm bound to do what you command. मातु पिता गुरु प्रभु कै बानी, बिनहि विचार करिए शुभ जानी. तुम सब भांति परम हितकारी, आज्ञा सिर पर नाथ तुम्हारी. Instructions that are given to you by your mother, father, guru, and Ishtadevata. You must follow those instructions with perfect faith, without any mental discussion whether it is right or not. And in this statement, Tulsidasi has given to you all Vedic culture. Matri Devo Bhava, let mother be your God. Pitri Devo Bhava, let father be your God. Guru Devo Bhava, let Guru be your God. And then finally, let God be your God. That's the path of faith. Faith that goes on blossoming. The earliest stage, mother. But the seed of spirituality is planted when you have a correct relationship. Bring that culture in the mind of a child to view the mother as divine. And mother in turn has to view the child as divine. And then as the child grows, father's role begins to play its part. The child must view father as God, as divine. And then you are led to Guru. Guru again can be school guru, college guru, or a spiritual guru. But all gurus, you must view them as expressions of God. And of course, by guru is referring to the what's well known as guru, spiritual guru. Until you are led to be in tune with God's will. So Mata Pita Guru Prabhu Kai Bani, Bina hi vichar kariye shubh jani. Without doing vichar, simply follow the messages, the teachings, the instructions that come from these divine gurus. And they come to you in sequence as you grow in your life. Shiva is telling Rama, Tum sab bhanti param hitkari, Agnya sir par nath tumhari. You are the doer of good in every way possible. Your instruction is on my head, on my eyes. That's simply a way of saying that I'm going to follow your instructions. Prabhu to Shiv suni Shankara bachana, Bhakti Viveka Dharma jut rachana. Kaha Prabhu har tumhara pan raheu, ab ur rakheu jo hum kaheu. Lord Rama was pleased with the words expressed by Shankara. Shiva. Shiva is not known as Shankara. Shang term relates to auspiciousness, goodness. Kara, the doer. He who brings about auspiciousness, changes a situation from negative to positive. Now, coming to the storyline, Rama was pleased to hear the words of Shiva. And what were the words of Shiva? Bhakti Viveka Dharma Jutta Rachana. His words were a blend of devotion, bhakti, vivek, a discriminative understanding. The self is different from body, mind, intellect, etc. The self is real. The bodies and sheaths, they are not self. They are layers of illusion. The differentiating vision is Viveka and Dharma, righteous conduct. 3 points are highlighted. If you are pleasing God, then live your life, and in your life there should be a blend of devotion, discriminative insight, and righteous conduct. In simple terms, live a life of integral yoga. Your action should flow according to the righteous laws, the laws of Dharma. Your feelings should move towards devotion. Your understanding must be guided by Viveka. कह प्रभु हर तुम्हारा पन रहेऊ, अब उर राखेऊ जो हम कहेऊ. Lord Rama said, O Shiva, your resolve has been fulfilled. Shiva had made a resolve that he will not join with Sati, because Sati had taken the form of Sita in a deceptive manner. But now, what Rama is saying, that your resolve is fulfilled. You are not going to marry Sati. Sati has incarnated now as Parvati. Parvati is not the same limited intellect aspect, but intuitive intellect. Now, from a broader point of view, everyone must cherish the term Shiva-Sankalpa. Your soul has a subtle Sankalpa. May I be joined with intuitive intellect. That Sankalpa is hidden from your view, but it goes on putting you in a restless situation. It goes on keeping your life in a state of turmoil. Human life is sto luchando. It's always turmoil. But behind all the turmoil, the soul wants to attain its realization. Who am I? That's the deepest urge in every soul. And that can be attained through intuitive intellect. The Shiva in you, the soul, must marry intuitive intellect, Parvati. And that type of instinctive urge, you must come to recognize as your pledge. May I attain liberation. Then it becomes Shiva-Sankalpa. Antardhan bhaye asabhashi, Sankar soi murati ur rakhi. Thus saying, Lord Shiva, Lord Rama disappeared. तबहि सप्तऋषि शिव आए, बोले प्रभुवति बचन सुहाए. According to Lord Rama's will, 7 great sages came to Shiva. And also consider this, Shiva wants to follow Rama's instruction to marry Parvati. So it was Shiva's will to draw these great sages. And Shiva wants these sages to go to Parvati. Parvati pahi jai tum prema paricha lehu. Giri preri patayu bhavan, puri karehu sandehu. He said to the 7 sages, go to Parvati and put her to test. Test her divine love. And after testing her, go to Parvati's parents and instruct them to bring Parvati home and try to resolve the doubts that the parents are afflicted with. Rishin Gauri dekhi taha kaisi, murati manta tapasya jaisi. Another name for Parvati is Gauri. Gauri term refers to snowy white, the symbol of purity. The sages saw Parvati like the very embodiment of Tapasya. Tapasya term is austerity. And I have explained this point before and I will repeat it. Normally people understand by Tapasya that anyone who does Tapasya does something that requires much physical endurance. If you stay seated in one pose for 3 hours, physical tapasya. And that physical tapasya can be of many types. You can go into the cold Ganges water and stay halfway or 3/4 of your body submerged in Ganges water, reciting your mantra. It is tapasya, austerity. If you fast, stop talking and observe mauna. There are different types of austerities. Every austerity is a denial of something you love and towards which your mind moves with great fascination. Profounder meaning of tapasya has been brought out in the scriptures. And I have Bhrigurvai Varuni. Varuna tells Bhrigu, practice austerity for attaining realization. And Bhrigu practices austerity and comes to his guru saying, I have come to realize Annam Brahmeti Vejanat. The matter is Brahman. And the guru says, repeats the same thing, Tapo Brahmeti. Instead of saying what Brahman is, he goes on saying Tapo Brahmeti. Do more austerity, do more austerity. That austerity, doing more, simply implies continue your integral yoga sadhana, integral sadhana. More. Move away from the body idea. I am not the body. Explore into the realm of your mind. Move away from your mind. Explore in the realm of your intellect. Move away from your intellect. Go beyond your ego. Explore your unconscious. And come up with the highest revelation, Aham Brahmasmi. All this process is called austerity. Takaro tapashamanam. Pakaro papanashana. This is my quotation. Pa and pa. Takaro tapashamanam. Everyone suffers from 3 troubles. They are called tapa. 3 types of fires. Subjective. Troubles coming from your body and mind. That's called adhyatmik tap. The troubles coming from outer world. Adhibhautik tap. And troubles coming from acts of God. hurricanes, volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, and so forth. Everyone is subject to threefold tapas. When you do tapasya, all these tapas have no effect on you because you come to realize you are not the body. You attain liberation, a profound revelation. I am all that exists. I am Brahman. So, takaro tahtapa shamanam. All the three tapas are removed by the word ta. Pakaro papanashana. And pa relates to all karmas that create bondage for your soul. The entire karmic process terminates. And behind the success in austerity lies the growth of Viveka Buddhi, the Parvati spirit. Bole muni sunuk shail kumari, karahu kavan karan tapu bhari. O Parvati, another name for Parvati is Shail Kumari. Shail relates to the mountain, Himalaya. And therefore another term is used, Shailaja, one who is born of the mountains. So, O Shail Kumari, why are you doing this severe austerity? For what purpose? I have also explained to you the 7 sages are the spirits presiding over 7 Jnana Bhumikas, 7 steps of wisdom. Just to reiterate, Shubhecha, aspiration, Vicharana, reflection, Tanumanasi, attenuation of kleshas, afflictions. The mind becomes purified, not absolutely, but the negative in your mind becomes thinned out. And then comes the 4th step, Sattvapatti, envisioning, glimpsing the state of liberation. And then moves on, 5th state, Asamsakti. There develops increasing detachment from the world. The world becomes more like a dream. Then comes Padartha Bhavana. Not even the dream like experience like absolute sleep. Such peace enters the heart of a sage. And then comes the 7th step, Turiya, transcends all. That's the highlight of Vedic culture. These 7 points are brought in many rituals. And those 7 spirits are as if testing the Parvati in you, the Parvati potential in you. Coming to storyline, these 7 sages, they are apparently scolding Parvati for having taken up such profound austerity for marrying someone who is no one. Who owns nothing, no money in the bank, not even clothes on his body. So when they ask, Kehi avaravdhahu, katum chahu, hamsan satyam kahu, whom do you invoke or worship? What is your cherished desire? Tell us. And Parvati says, Kahat bachana manu ati sakuchai, हंसी हऊ तुम सुनिज हमारी जड़ताई. I'm going to tell you, but I am feeling very shy. Talking about husbands, girls become very shy. You will laugh at my folly. In other words, she's already so settled that the presence of those 7 great rishis does not in any way shake her heart and shake her faith. Manu hatha parana sunai sikhawa, chatvari parabhiti uthawa. Parvati says, my mind has pursued hatha. The literal meaning of hatha that implies my mind is obstinate. It will not listen to anyone's instruction against what I have already decided. My mind wants to create a wall over water. And no matter how foolish all this sounds, I'm not going to listen to it. So behind this strange expression, must realize Tulsi Ramayana has tremendous gudha bachan, profound statement. What Parvati said, I am following Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga is the commencement. What Hatha Yoga leads you to? Raising a wall over water. Water is Swadhisthana chakra. Firstly, Hatha Yoga is a union of prana and apana, sun and moon, Ida and Pingala. That you have to go on studying to understand that point. The very practice of pranayama and hatha yoga prepares you. When you are well prepared, then Kundalini begins to rise. The lowest down center is called Mooladhara, root center. Little above that center is Swadhisthana. Swadhisthana means that's the most basic base, foundation. And that center is predominated by water element. That again you have to study and it is the aspirant when Kundalini rises and it comes to Swadhisthana. Now the movement of Kundalini becomes dynamic. It goes on moving. And so if you have that type of faith, you are raising wall over water. Narad kaha satya sui jana. Whatever Narad told me about my marriage, I am following Narada's words. I am like a bird that's intent upon flying, even though I have no wings yet. देखिए मुनि अविवेकु हमारा, चाहिए सदा शिव ही भरतारा. O Muni, listen to this ridiculous desire I have. I want for my Bhartar, Shiva. Bharta term is nourisher. The term has been used in the Gita. The attitudes to God, the God's role in human life. Upadrashtanu mantacha bharta bhokta maheshwara. First stage, as you spiritually advance, God is playing the role like a mother. watching your actions from a distance. And the babies, knowing mother is watching, that in itself keeps the baby's movement quite relaxed and joyous. So that's called upadrashta, first stage, that God is watching over you. You don't feel lost, no matter how troublesome situation. Someone who loves you intensely, who has planned the whole universe in a most dynamic way, is watching over you with great love. Anubanta, to come to next level. Not only she is watching, but she comes close to the baby behind and stays behind the neck of the baby. And tells, when the baby is doing something good, she pats the head. If the baby is going to catch a squirrel or a scorpion, the mother prevents the baby from doing that. And the baby looks at the eyes of the mother to see what will please my mother. That stage is called Anumanta. Third stage is Bharta. Now God has become your Bhartar. In the popular language, Bharta means husband. But mystical language that I am explaining, husband and wife both play the role of nourishing each other. And that type of relation develops of a profound love and internal communion with God. That God is giving me a profound inner nourishment. Sugandhim pushti vardhanam. He is the enhancer of fragrance and nourishment. And then you come to another level, bhokta, that my enjoyments mean nothing. God is enjoying through me. And that sense that divine love is shining within me, that becomes the most satisfying experience. God is the enjoyer, I am not. A state of self-effacement. And then finally, a revelation, Maheshwara, that God alone exists. I have led to all these words because Parvati has mentioned the word Bhartara, the role of Bharta. Sunat bachan vihase rishaya giri sambhava tavade narad kar upadesha suni kahu baseu kisage. Listening to the words of Parvati, the sages who are in the mood of testing Parvati and distracting her from her austerity, the sages laughed and said, "Indeed, you are born of a mountain, dull with mind. And do you know who has been ever benefited by Narada's instructions?" And that's point is that Narada's instructions lead you to be nishkamya, desiring nothing of this world. And that's the beauty of spiritual instruction. Any other instruction that keeps your mind interested in the world process, keeps you interested in coming back in the cycle of birth and death, any such instruction is, to the masses, something substantial. But to the pure-minded, attaining liberation, becoming free from all desires, that becomes the goal. And Narada is the one who leads one to develop pure mind and desireless state. Narada is the embodiment of satsanga, good association. And remember the statements, satsangatve nihasangatvam. The role of satsanga is to engender in your heart a state of detachment. You don't become, you pass through the world without being touched by the world. You become like sky. Clouds come and go. The sky remains untouched. That's called asanga. Satsangatve nihasangatvam. If you reach this nisangatva, nischal tattvam, your mind develops a profound, unshakable understanding of who am I. But I missed one point. Satsangatve nihasangatvam, nihasangatve nirmohatvam. When you develop detachment, moha is like a mist that distracts human movement. That moha will move away from you. Nirmohatve nischalatatvam. Therefore, your mind develops a unshakable conviction, this is what I have to get. Nischalatatve jivan mukti. When you come to that level, jivan mukti is easy for you. That's your goal, and you realize. And now, these 7 sages in the storyline, they are talking against Narada. And they are giving example of what happened to those who received Narada's instructions and what happened to them. Dacha sutana upadesa nijai, tin firi bhavan na dekha ai. Some sons of Daksha, the whole group of sons, they were highly advanced souls. When they received the instruction from Narada, they all became sannyasis. And as sannyasis, they never entered their homes. But subtle meaning behind it, they didn't return to human embodiment anymore. They didn't return to embodiment. Embodiments are the residences for the soul, transient residences. Chitraketu kar gharu unadhala dhala kanak kasipu karapuni asahala. And now refers to different stories from the Puranas. Chitraketu was a very rajasic king, but he was prosperous and extremely proud. Contact with Narada spoiled that status. He was, through different stories, he was led to attain salvation. Same story comes with Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu, great demon king, whose son Prahlad was a devotee of God. And there's a whole story. Because of Prahlad, and Narada was behind this whole plot, he had encouraged Prahlad to become a profound devotee. And that led to the destruction of Hiranyakashipu. Not destruction, salvation. Narada was behind it. Narada sikhe je sunahi nara nari, avasi hohi taj bhavan bhikhari. Whoever listens, men and women, whosoever listens to the teachings of Narada, hohi taji bhavan, they move away from body embodiment. Literally what he's saying, they move away from their houses and become wandering fakirs. The subtler meaning, you move away from the illusion that I am embodied. And Bhikhari term has, Bhikshuk is a Sanskrit word. He term relates to light. Ikshuk, desiring light. Man kapati tan sajjana chinna. Narada's mind is deceitful. Body appears like a very gentle person, but not be duped by him. And he wants to make everyone like himself mad. Kapati. Again, kapat term. In this context, every soul is involved in playing a role that doesn't belong to it. Soul has become identified with the body. And that's the drama. In drama, every actor plays the role. If you snatch the role away from the actor is any normal person. Try to understand that. An actor is playing a role, but during the role he has put on a special appearance. Stripped of appearance, he's totally a different person. Narada is that type of kapat. He takes away the drama of the world that you are playing and leaves you to your essential nature. Tehi ke bachad bani vishwasa, tum chahahu pati sahaj udasa. Trusting his words. You want to marry someone who is udas, who has no interest in the world. That's what udasin state means. Now, to understand the term, for the masses, udas means negative, sad, sorrowful. For udasin sect, udas means as is desire, expectation. Ut as. Your as is not in this world. Nothing is desirable. Ut, like Upanishad. Brahman alone is desirable. And this is the description of Shiva. Shiva is udasi. Nirgun nilaj kuvesha kapali, akula ageha digambara byali. Now these are his strange qualities. He is nirgun, beyond the three gunas. Nirlaj, he doesn't look at people, am I doing right? Am I following the conduct the society likes to see? Kuvesh, here is allegorical, he has no clothes. In turn, he is decked by tiger skin, and snakes, and moon in his four matted locks, and a strange throat. All this allegorical. And Kapali, also he is decked by skulls. Akul, he doesn't belong to any family. He has no father, no mother. Age, he has no no house, no residence, no home. Digambar, he is without clothes. And that's the description of the soul in its essential nature. Vyali, he keeps himself wrapped up by snakes. Kahu kavan sukha asabaru paaye, bhala bhulihu thag ke bauraye. Tell me, what type of pleasure will you gain by marrying this? Why are you being deluded by thug, cheat, Narada? Panch kahe Shiva Sati Vivahi, Puni avaderi marayani tahi. And it is popular fact that Shiva married Sati and then abandoned her, caused her destruction. Ab sukha sovat soch nahi, ठीक मांगी भव खाही, सहजे का किन के भवन, कबहू की नारी खटाई. And now he is sleeping peacefully and maintains himself on the basis of bhiksha. And he is absolutely non-dual, ekakin. Any woman marrying him will be reduced to nothing. Nari Katari. Here also we have subtle meaning. Nari relates to Stri, Sanskrit. Stri relates to triad, seer, seen, and sight. The relative consciousness characterized by three illusions. And that's Stri. And if this Stri marries Shiva, she will have no calories. She will be reduced to nothing. Remember this statement I made on from Krishna to Krishna. And with this I conclude. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Shri Ramaya Namah, Om Shanti Shanti.